Welcome to this very special edition of the Author's Voice with KAJ, a show where we explore the stories behind the stories. Here we dive into the worlds created by authors, discover their inspirations, and ensure that you walk away enriched and inspired. And today we have with us author Susanne Kos, and she has proven how the secret ingredient synchronicity works and that her formula works despite all realistic possibilities by manifesting her own dream life multiple times 12 years, living on an island in Bali, owning a 30-meter long sailboat, millions in revenue from her own jewelry brand, and her current life as an author in a picturesque Austrian county house. So we'll country house. So we'll talk about all that, and we'll also talk about her book. Let's dive into the story behind the story. Welcome to the show, Susanne.
Thank you very much for having me.
Welcome to the show once again. This time on the Author's Voice with KJ, Susanne, and we'll be talking about living all this dream life. Means I want to understand your journey as an author. When did you get this time to become an author? Why did you want to become an author? Tell us a bit about the story behind you becoming an author, Susanne.
For me, I always loved writing, so it was like a secret dream my entire life. But I was never thinking to really write about my personal story. The dream was more like very in secret to write a fun story like some fantasy novel like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, something like that, something totally strange. But yeah, as life went on, my real life, I was always in this manifesting, and when I created the ship, and I really had this crazy life, and I realized when I met people, and I told them a little bit of my story because I didn't like to talk so much about it. So they was like, "Oh, your life is it sounds like three lives what you had already." And yeah, and I was always into writing my synchronicity formulas to create my dreams. And the last formula I did last year, I like to do a short-term goal and a long-term goal. And the short-term goal at that time was to sell my jewelry business after 10 years. And the short-term goal was within 1 month to sell it, which was already incredible. And my long-term goal was to finally write my fantasy novel. But the realization of the sale, it went so crazy, and it was sold within exactly 23 days, and it was not a little deal, it was like really a business. And the people told me it's hard to sell this jewelry business because it's a niche market, and it's very attached to my personality. And they all told me, oh, it will take at least a year, or a kind of it's impossible. But yeah, I wrote down, and yeah, my short-term goal, and within 1 month it will be sold, like without no negotiations, and the potential buyer is finding me, and it worked out really like that. And yeah, I was jumping around 1 month in my garden, like, wow, I did it again, I did it again. And yeah, and then I sat down, and somehow I couldn't think about a fantasy story because my own story was just too good not to share. And it's also a lot becoming an author, because it was the same like before. I mean, my story with building the boat. All the people were telling me like, oh, it's impossible, or you're crazy, what you want to do with a boat in Indonesia. And then when I sold the boat business after 12 beautiful years in Bali, I decided to make a jewelry business. And the people were saying, it's like not in my face, but behind my back, like, what? Now she's doing she's selling Bali bracelets. How you want to make money with this? But it turned out like a really big business. We made millions out of these tiny bracelets. And this is, yeah, and then becoming an author is the same thing. When you start thinking about it, the people, or when doing this research what you can earn as an author, you will quick realize it's hard to earn money, or it's hard to get a publishing house. And the same thing for me started again, after two really successful businesses where the people were like, nobody believed in it. I don't know, for me it was just a decision again. I want to be an author, and if I read that you cannot make money with a book, yeah, not me. So there are a few decisions you do, and for me it was clear, with the decision of doing a self-publishing or looking for a publishing house. I quickly realized, if you want to make some money out of it, you have to do the publishing by yourself. And in my case, I just, not to get this stamp of a self-publisher, I decided to make my own publishing house. It's not a big deal. When I'm in Austria, so I had already a company, so I just added this line into my company papers that I'm publishing and producing media and that stuff. So I'm somehow a self-publisher because it goes to my own pocket, but on the other hand, I'm not a self-publisher because I made my own publishing house, and it works out. It just works if you believe in it. If you believe that, if you believe in what people are telling you, that you cannot earn money, you won't earn money. But if you believe in it, there's always a way to earn money. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely, Suzanne, well explained. So, coming to your book itself, this is the book on the screen. So, super synchronicity, enter the frequency of lucky chances, the secret ingredient for successful and rapid manifestation, a powerful self help book for growth, motivation, freedom, and happiness. Tell us a bit about this book. What is this story all about in this book?
The story in the book is really the essence of all that has happened to me and all what is happening now, because I really believe in this frequency. It's a frequency at the end. If when we talk about manifestations, it's not just sitting down and making a wish to the universe and it's delivering it, because it's not. If it would be that easy, nobody would would still be looking for something. So, and for me, synchronicity as a frequency explains everything much better, because when I started with my boat and the boat charter business, it was for me a natural synchronicity. And if you go back to the term itself, synchronicity is a chain. Like, it's from a very famous Swiss psychologist, Carl Gustav Jung, and he quoted this as a chain of coincidences. They have no causal connection, but they lead to a certain outcome. And only when you look back, you realize these coincidences or lucky twists, or you meet people and they give you a new direction, or they give you new information. And this is the awesome great thing about it, because when you're in the middle of the process, you don't see it, but when you look back what led you to this outcome, it's like, wow, these were coincidences or lucky twists, or like circumstances you couldn't even think about it before, because we all live in this how addiction, that you have a certain plan how it has to work out. It's the same with a book. You make a plan and you do this or that marketing, but reality is different. It's, you can make as many plans as you want to do, but it's these nice little twists, they come to you. And when we talk about this, I really truly believe that you can step into this frequency, and it's not that you suddenly start attracting lucky chances. They are always there, but you don't see them. You are blind because you stick in your how addiction, or you stick in your old beliefs. And there is a lot of self-sabotage what we are doing to ourselves, that we don't take the chances that the life is already offering us. So for me it was, when I was building the boat and owning this business, I was very naive, still young, and I didn't really realize it. I was more or less natural in this state of, yeah, everything will work out somehow, and you know that the pumps you can work out along the way. It's and as the point is, where I decided that I'm able to share it is if you are able to repeat it, and to repeat something, then you need a formula. There are certain steps to enter this frequency, and for me it all starts with a decision. So the super synchronicity journey always starts with a decision to do something, because if you're not moving, or if you don't decide for yourself, nothing will happen. It remains a wish, or it remains wishful thinking, or just, well, yeah. But this synchronicity is stepping into it's a feeling of great thankfulness. You're grateful, and you're open for this different ways to get to a target. And it was the same with the jewelry. There are so many ways to do a business, and you can make as many business plans as you want. I think it will never work out. For sure you can with hard work you can achieve anything, but synchronicity is, I like to have it easier, with a flow, and quicker, and this only works when you're open for different ways of thinking and different ways of acting.
Absolutely, absolutely, Susan. So I want to understand, who is this book for? Is it for the dreamer, or is it for the one who wants to make their dream come true?
It's definitely for the ones that are ready to make a decision, and to just to do it now. This is everyone is like, you have, for me still, I have many unfulfilled wishes, but it always starts with a decision now to touch it, or now to do it. And I think everyone who is not happy with whatever, and is ready to go for it now, it's the book. Because I really, so many things happened to me, and I figured out a certain way to reprogram my thinking, because it's a kind of, the music is playing the whole day in your head. There's so many thoughts you're thinking, and it's so easy to drift away. But to enter this, to be in this frequency, it's need like you have to be in this frequency all the time. If you start like doubting again, or doing other things, and it's so easy, because at the end it's like a short guide. You have to work out the steps, and at the end of the book you write your own formula. And to repeat your own formula, it's like a guided meditation, but it's not a meditation somebody else wrote. It's something you wrote for yourself, what you want to think. And it doesn't matter if you're cleaning your dishes, or whatever you do. You have so many opportunities during the whole day just to repeat it, and to put yourself into this emotion of the frequency. And it, at the end, somehow it's so easy. It's But it's work, and I call it inner work, because it's, for me, it's 90% inner work, what you play with yourself, because you always have to repeat these thoughts until they're, for me, they're already coming natural. So it doesn't matter if I take a shower, if I'm driving my car, as soon as there are some dots, or some bad thoughts, or I start repeating my formula. And you can also, you can adjust your formula. You have different versions, like a long version, a short version, but you train yourself, and it puts yourself in a certain feeling. And with this feeling, you're like radiating. I even people, when like old friends, they see you, and they will realize the change. It's not that you are different, but you're radiating different, and people respond to you different. And for me, it's when I in the book Synchronicity explains the past, but for me the fun thing is really that I'm doing actually with my book the same again. I'm repeating it is, and I have it's so fun because it's so hard to earn money, but for me, like with my formula, what I did for the book is also to be open for ways, or for ways to earn money I don't even know about, and it was so fun because it was like 2 weeks ago I was walking my dog and I was like thinking, oh, what else could I do? Because like with the podcasts, I love it, I love to talk about it, I love to connect with people. And then I was thinking to myself, what else could generate money with the book, and it was fun because a few days later I got an email from a publishing house from Poland. I was never thinking about like translating the book into Polish. So, and they were asking me if the rights for Poland are available, and I was like, yeah, sure, and they offered me, it's not big money, but it's money that came out of nothing, because I will never sell a book in Poland. Maybe some people, they buy the English version, but so for me it was, yeah, why not to sell the rights, the marketing rights for the next 7 years to Poland, and they translate it, they do all the work, and I get royalties for a market I never thought about. And these are things you don't know in the beginning when you start, but if you're open, things like that come.
Absolutely, things like that certainly come, Suzanne. So I want to understand, in terms of, a lot of people may have read the book, and some may not still be able to read the book. For those people who have not, what would you like to tell those potential readers that, okay, this is something you must know from the book? Any favorite line, anything that you want to tell them to get them to read this book?
When you publish a book, you have no, but it's like, for me it was like really putting everything I know into this little book, because I don't like if you have like to read like for hours and hours, and to explain, like get to 100 stories to get to one point. So I really made it like a quick guide without unnecessary blah blah. And for me it was also, it was a little bit like self-sabotage from my side, but because in the beginning I didn't want to really write it, because I had to show too much from my personal life. And I think I was like asking my husband like for sure 5 times if I'm really allowed to put our love story also inside, because somehow it makes sense. You have to tell the people everything so that they believe me. And in my book, for sure, like with the boat and the jewelry, these are big stories, but I just want to show that everything is possible despite the reality, so, but it's something you can put really into your everyday life, because it's so nice just to have also these little lucky coincidences every day. Just if something is broken in the house and you need somebody to fix it, and like a few days ago I met my neighbor and asked him if he knows some electrician guy, and yeah, for sure. And it was so smooth, and this is the nice thing. But if for me that the book is now I sold already a few thousand copies, and I love to get the feedback. So what I can tell people, new readers, what people are telling me is that it's really fun to read. It's mind opening, because it just opens the frequency, and like already during the reading you tap into this frequency, and it leads you through the creation of your own formula. And when it's done, you have your own formula, and you get off, and for me this is like what I tell you. For me it's even more important what people who read it tell me about it. And so many people tell me that it's so motivating, and it's quick to read, and it's a fun read, and it leaves already a footprint. Just the reading of it leaves a footprint into your own personality. And then you can go off with that.
Right, right. So, what are the key insights, key, message that you want readers of your book to take away from this?
For me, is the most important thing is to really trust your own decisions, your own gut feeling. Man, it's nothing new, but I think you learn to trust yourself. You learn to trust your own decisions, and it takes away the because there is something when you go for something, there is sometimes a strange feeling, and it's important not to mix up fear or this self-sabotage, to mix up with this little strange feeling from doing something new. And there's a very slight difference in, and the people sometimes they don't start, or they don't even start, because they have this like strange feeling. And this is just the trust in yourself, and to make the decision to go for your dream. This is the only thing I want to I want to share.
Right, right. Any upcoming, any other book in the pipeline, Susanne, or this is one book and right now life is
No,
keeping you
I
busy?
I have to do, because most of us, we start working on ourselves when we are like adults. And I realized I have a 15-year-old son and a 10-year-old daughter. And I realized, when I'm talking to them, it's so great to give them the message, but it's difficult, you cannot explain them like an adult, or give advice. They don't listen to you. So I'm right now in the middle of figuring out how to tell a story, their story, my story, synchronicity story, but in a language that a 15-year-old teenager boy is listening, but it's fun. And this is my project right now, just to figure out how to make it as a story teenagers can grab it, or like to get the interest of a teenager, to just to be open to this kind of stuff.
Wonderful, wonderful. There's so much to learn about from your book, and I'm sure a lot of people would want to connect with you, learn about your book, and want to get this book and learn all that is possible for them. What is the best way for them to do so, Suzanne?
Just go to Amazon. It's the easiest way, and now also the Audible version is available. So ebook, printed, soft cover, everything is there.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the Author's Voice of with KAJ. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.